Well, I am going to go ahead and start recording the call now. So thank you so much, Brittany, for asking me to do this. I know it took a while for us to connect and get this on the calendar, but I'm super excited to share because mindset has become something that I'm so incredibly passionate about. So before I talk about some mindset shifts that I had earlier this year, I'll just take a minute to introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. So my name is Rochelle Bailey. I have been a Zaya rep for 2 years now. It was April 2019 when I first started. I am currently a director at the time of this recording. And I just absolutely love Zaya. So just real quick background on how I got started. I attended a Facebook party and I was at just the lowest of low points in my life personally. And I was looking to try to stay motivated for working out. And when I was working out, I wanted leggings that would stay put because I was constantly distracted by hiking them up. And so that was my pure motivation for checking out Zaya. I attended the Facebook party and I was very fortunate pre-COVID. We had an in-home event and I got to go try it on and I felt amazing. And if you're watching this video on our team, you know how amazing the light and tights are. They sold me and I bought an entire outfit. What I did not expect to get when I joined was to get me back. So when I first was introduced to Zaya, I had lost my dad 6 months prior to that. And when I lost my dad, it was 10 years to the month that I had lost my mom. On top of this, I was being treated for postpartum depression. So I was grieving. I was already suffering from postpartum depression. And it was just like everything all at once. I was really at rock bottom. I didn't know I was at rock bottom. I just knew I needed something different. But looking back now, I can tell you that that's where I was. Burnout, overwhelm, stressed out, victim. Life was happening to me. I had no control over anything. And then Zaya came along and completely changed my life. So I think that's one of the reasons I'm so passionate about talking about mindset when I'm given the opportunity to do that, because that mind. All right. Night. Night. I love you. That mindset shift is what changed my life. So I say Zaya changed my life because it was the catalyst. It's what got me started. So I, signed up to work this business, and I signed up to make some extra money. My brother and I suddenly found ourselves not only each paying for our separate households, and I had young kids, 2 of them were still in full-time daycare, and my oldest was in after-school care, but we also had to pay for our parents' home. There was no will, there was no estate, there was nothing. And so that was my pure motivation. And then along the way, through digging in to that personal development that you hear leaders talk about all the time, I really started to come out of this funk that I was in and really learn more about myself. So mindset, I would say, is the biggest piece of your business. It sounds kind of crazy. I can tell you exactly what to say to somebody, and I can say the exact same thing to that same person, and it can be received completely different from 2 different people. And it's all about what you're thinking about when you're sharing that message. So for me, at the beginning of the year is really when I saw kind of this big shift in my business. And so I would say the one thing that happened that really saw that shift for me was the way that I started showing up when I was working the business. So I had been working the business. I had been asking all the people if they were open to hosting parties, asking all the people if they were open to joining me on this business, asking people if they were open to taking a look. I was asking all the questions, but I didn't always feel good about it when I was asking the questions, because I was still lacking a lot of confidence in myself because I hadn't seen those results that I wanted to see yet. And I was kind of hinging it on that. And so I have to say, we have one of the most incredible teams, being under Paula, like out there. I've been with other network marketing companies, and they've been, fine, great, whatever, but really, truly, the way that people will pour into you in our team is incredible. People who don't know you. I would say Paula was a big piece of that for me. Tracy Diato, like we connected through Facebook Messenger. She's so sweet. Like we're friends now, because we had so much of the same story, and just seeing what she had gone through and just hoping and believing that it could happen for me. And I think that's where the shift happened. I went from hoping maybe to just believing that it would happen. So when you're looking at your business, you really want to look into the future. And I know that it sounds so crazy and kind of cliche, but if I could share a picture with you of what my mirror looked like in January, it would explain it. So I'll just tell you about it. So January 2021, Zaya announced a incentive trip to the Riviera Maya. And I work with a business coach, and I said to her, I was like, man, I really wish I could go on a trip like that, but I've never come close to earning points, I just don't know. And so we just instantly set to work. Did I change any of the work that I had been doing for the previous year and a half? More than a year and a half. I did not. I just changed my mindset around what I was doing. So I began to believe that it had already happened. So on my mirror, and I highly recommend that you do this. Do this somewhere where you can see it, where you'll say it every day. So we started saying affirmations, and I started saying, I am a trip earner. So I had that real big across the top of my mirror from January through April, because I was still celebrating. Like, I am a trip earner. And I had anything that I was struggling with, I had an affirmation of the positive. So I had never done a 3x4, recruited 3 people in the same month as closing 4 parties and selling $2,500. So I'm a 3x4 recruiter. I'm a recruiting rock star. I just really started affirming all of the things that I wanted to happen and put them up there. My business is easy. My parties are the best. I'm a party animal. And just really believing that. I was saying that, and still do, before I reach out to people and ask them if they're open to hosting a party. I'm like, yeah, they want to party with me because my parties are the best. And so it was just flipping, instead of the year prior where it was like, I hope she'll want to host a party with me. I should have another party on my calendar. I need to do this. I switched it to really an act of service, because truly, when you're hosting a party, you are doing a favor for your hostess. Think about it. We have amazing products, and we get to help people get more of those for free and half price. That is a gift that we have to offer. It's an act of service that we can do. And when we view it that way, with that positive spin and belief and faith in what's happening, then it really changes the results that you're going to see. So that was a big thing. It's just, and people talk about vision all the time. I didn't really understand it until kind of this year, when I was really working on that, and really believing that it was going to happen. So there's one more thing I want to share with you that I did. So there's an exercise, and I actually have a PDF, Brittany, if you'd like for me to share it with you after this call, of this whole exercise that I did. I'm going to take a drink real quick. My allergies are terrible here. all the rain in Texas, and then crazy humidity. So I was asked to create an alter ego. And so what it is the person that you want to be in the future, the person that you want to show up as. And so my coach had asked me to do it in December, and I was like, yeah, I should do it. And I didn't do it. Um, Self-sabotage, that's a real thing. Limiting beliefs, we find all of the reasons and ways to hold ourselves back. And until you recognize that and take the steps to move past that, you're just going to stay stuck and you're going to be on a loop. And you might find mild success doing some of the things, but the long-term sustainable, joyful success is not going to come until you kind of flip that mindset. So in January, I finally decided to do it. And so what it is you first write down everything you're leaving behind. So all of the things that you currently think about yourself, or the things that you dwell on in your business. And, I say business because that's why you're here, but really, truly, when you change your mindset, you're affecting every area of your life. And I think that is such a powerful thing that people miss. And for me, it's my favorite part about Zaya. I was talking about to Brittany before we hopped on and started recording this call, how she had shared the acronym MLM, multi-level marketing. One of her friends had shared My Little Ministries as a different way at looking at those letters. And I think that is so powerful because we have all been given a gift. We are all unique and different. And that's what's so amazing. To share in some way what that is. So for me, with my history of loss, I've had a lot of loss in my life. I've had a lot of anxiety and depression. And then I found Zaya and I'm doing all this mindset work and I'm like happy and joyful and life has changed. Like, that's a gift I've been given, and it's my job to share that with people. And so again, business is what prompted me to do this. But once you really start digging in, you see how it kind of affects everything. So when you're doing this exercise, don't just limit yourself to your business. It's a great place to start. If you can't think of anything, I'll just give you some examples of things that I wrote about myself. So what I'm leaving behind. First of all, I gave her a name. So my name was Timid Shelley, and that had several different meanings to me. And so you want to make it unique to you and make it really powerful. So for me, timid, I was shy, I was reserved, I was hesitant to do some of these things. And Shelley was a nickname that didn't stick. Thank goodness, because it wasn't one of my favorites when I was in school. So I wrote things like, not good enough. What are people going to think about me? I've changed too much. All of the what ifs, perfectionism, mistakes are costly, putting others unnecessarily above myself, not finishing something, being unworthy, assuming the worst, indecision, shame cycle, accepting others' identities of me, being a people pleaser. So those are just some of the things I wrote, but hopefully that gives you a good picture of what you're doing. It's all of the thoughts, the characteristics, the traits that you've taken on and consumed and believed to be who you are that are not really you, that you're going to leave behind. So once you have all that written down, your next step is to identify some mentors that you have. So again, you don't have to limit yourself to the business, but I highly recommend picking at least a couple in the business if you're doing this for business purposes. So for me, I picked Paula and Tracy, and then I picked a couple of people from my church, ones that I know personally, and then my pastor. And then when you're thinking about your mentors, you want to write down the traits or characteristics of those people that you admire and that you want to carry with you. So for example, My pastor, I wrote, he's living in his zone of genius, using his gifts for what God called him to do. And he's inspiring everyone. And you can just see that when he's at work. Paula, I'll use her because I think a lot of people watching this call probably know who she is. She's got fire and drive, and she has a passion for people and energy. And so those positive traits and characteristics that you want to carry with you. And so once you've identified your mentors and some positive things about them that you admire about them, then you want to write, like, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? So I wrote, I want to feel thriving, joyful, inspiring, confident, passionate, energetic, like unwavering, free, peaceful, light, love, bliss, connected. Like, it's sky is the limit. And then once you've completed that, you're going to write down your future self. So you're going to write down the person that you would become if you left all of those things behind, and who you want to be in this perfect world, who you want to show up as, what you want to wear, who you're friends with, what you do, where you live, what your hobbies are. I mean, the sky is the limit. And the more specific you can get, the better. And then you want to give yourself that self a name. So that future self, I named her R. Moore because my first name is Rochelle. My maiden name is Maury. And so it's a play on the words R. Moore. And then once you've created that, you want to associate it with something that can put you in that spot. So for example, I have some songs that are like my pump up jams. And so when I hear those songs, they really elicit that future self, that feeling, that vibration. And so if you're struggling with your business, if you're struggling, you find yourself losing your passion, if you find yourself doing the same thing over and over, but not getting any results, but it has to work because everybody keeps telling you, ask people if they're open to checking it out. I encourage you to try out this exercise. And once you're done writing that future self, ask that person if they're open as your future self, not as your past tense, but your future self. And so for me, when I started showing up as that future self, R. Moore, in January and February and April, I tripled my team size. I almost tripled my personal volume that I do every single month consistently. I started having more parties. And so for me, I wasn't doing any of the actions like differently. I didn't have brand new scripts. I didn't know I was supposed to ask people. Like, there's no magic trick to this business other than the mindset. And that is something that nobody else can do for you. Like, as much as I would love to do that for you, because I want you to feel the joy, the bliss, that higher vibration, I can't, but you can. You're in control. And the best like piece of wisdom statement I got was probably when I did Tony Robbins seminar, or whatever you want to call it, last year, where he said, I really embraced that whole concept that life is happening for us, not to us. So you are not a victim. And you have a choice. You can choose to feel good, or you can choose to dwell on the negative. And I know that sounds really harsh, but I feel okay saying it because I have lost both my parents and my older brother. And so I had a choice. I could dwell on how much it sucks to be 39 without my parents, my older brother. My mom never met my kids. My dad passed when my son was not even 2 years old. I was literally in the middle of postpartum depression. But I chose to start being grateful for that. And if you can find the gratitude in every day. And maybe you're like, Rochelle, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. How can I do all that? Start by writing down 5 things you're grateful for every day. Just really start flipping that mindset. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions. I know that this is a recording. Maybe you're watching it in the future, and that's totally fine. I have the free Zoom, so I won't be able to stay on for much longer. But I would just love to help you answer any questions. I really do believe that this is my ministry. This is what I am supposed to, this is what lights me up. Like, this is what sets me on fire and what I'm supposed to be doing. So I believe in you. If you don't believe in yourself, I believe in you. I know Brittany believes in you. I know that there's somebody on this team who brought you here for a reason. Nothing is for mistake. Everything is on purpose. And I believe that together we can make a huge difference and impact in this world. And we get to do it with really amazing leggings at the same time. Like, it's a win-win. So I'm so incredibly grateful. Thank you, Brittany, for having me tonight. I really appreciate it. And just feel free, if you have questions, to let me know. I'm happy to answer. And if you want that PDF, I'll send it to you of that
Thank you so
exercise.
much. It was so encouraging, and I know we're about to like run out of time, but I've watched you over the past like couple of years, and it's really been amazing to see how you've changed
Thank you.
for the good. It's just been really encouraging and inspiring. That's why I wanted to make sure that you got to be on the call and talk to everybody. So I know it's going to inspire so many other people. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you. I'm so grateful to be here.
Yeah. All right. Thank you
Okay.
again so much.
You're welcome.